Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syed Farid beside Azis. I am from EE 2.1 C7B. I am member group of number 1 with Azis group. I would like to present to you about branch of engineering. Branch of engineering consists of four popular engineering which the student could go of favorite engineering in university, which are chemical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, and mechanical engineering. Okay, I would like to talk about chemical engineering. Chemical engineering is the subdivision of engineering that deals with chemical production and the creation of products through chemical process. It also including the schematic equipment, system, and process of decontaminating and for mixing, compounding, and processing chemical for various product. Chemical engineering was born in 1878, which a person who called George E. Davis, an Englishman which is a role as chemical inspector, also is called as father of chemical engineering. The reason why the reason why George E. Davis is the father of chemical engineering, which is his visits allowing him to detect the unique operation, which is a main concept of chemical engineering, that the chemical process could be auxiliary broken down into the operations. Inside the chemical engineering, at the end of the lecture of in chemical engineering, there are many types of jobs that in the chemical engineering, such as manufacturing, pharmaceutics, healthcare, design and construction, pulp and paper, pulp and paper, petrochemicals, food processing, and others. Okay, this is the little bit of chemical engineering that I present. Next, I would like to present the civil engineering, which is the second famous of engineering beyond the student for selected course in the university. Civil engineering is the engineering that the career purpose of it is to design and implementing the physical works that could be useful in the general public of all the people, such as dam that make the water for power, which make the people could walk above it or car drive over it, highways for the shortened time of traveling, power plants just a power source of country service for the raining drain system, and other infrastructure that could be used for people. It was studied at the foundation in France and in 17 system of the bridge and highway corps. Also, out of which in 1747 developed the École nationale des points et courses, the National School Bridge and Highways. In civil engineering, there are three categories within the types of function in civil engineering. They are before construction, during construction, and after construction. In the before construction, which is the person who had tasks which are viability studies, site investigation, and process. The person who perform during construction will deal in cope with clients, checking the engineers and contractors. The person who perform after construction will do the maintenance and research. After gaining the knowledge of civil engineering, there are many jobs in the civil engineering included which are recognized in five groups. One of them is construction and management engineering. Inside that group is including the horizontal construction engineer, commission engineer, and civil engineer. Horizontal construction engineer is the engineer that work in the grouping operating hefty machinery to maneuver the earth constituents. They are really responsible to identify the types of soil which they are working and making a right choice for machinery to dig up and transport the soil. Another groups in the type of job in civil engineering which are geotechnical engineering, structural engineering, transport engineering, and water engineering. Inside the second group of type of job which is geotechnical engineering, there are three jobs which are project engineer, geotechnical engineer, and mining engineer. Mining engineer is the engineer that responsible for calculating the potential outcome factors which can be tweaked the involved in extracting the natural resources such as oils, metals, and gas from the ground. That's it for the civil engineering. Now proceed to the third engineering, which is electrical engineering. Electrical engineering is the engineering that design the building and preservation of electrical control system, machinery, and tools. Also, electrical engineering is involved in the mechanical engineering and civil engineering. For example, for civil engineering, which dam. The function of dam is to make the water as the resources for the power up the electrical power, which in three-phase system to power up the electricity in the country. Another example of electrical engineering is involved in civil engineering, which when the construction engineer wanted to build a house, they also a part of electrical which to power light up, such as bulb, television, washing machine, and others electrical requirements. Besides electrical engineering are essential parts of thousands of syndicates. Where the electrical engineering come from? When and who? Let's see at the history section. History section. Electrical engineering started when there is the end attention of the Europe intellectual in the early of 17th centuries, and the first of electrical instrument was invented by Samuel F.B. Morse, which is telegraph, a writing machine. They usually used in all centuries before the technology writing involving. Also, during the World War II, the largest of focus branch of electrical engineering makes the branch action with the electronic computer was introduced, which means that the electronic computer was introduced during the World War II for getting some information or sending the information from such country to another country. Besides, the field of computer science and engineering has enlisted members of several specialties outside electronic, notably logician, liquids, and applied mathematics. Now moving on to the types of electrical engineering. There are many types of electrical engineering which are electronic and communication engineering, also called as electronic engineering, computer engineering, software engineering, and data engineering. Software engineering is an engineer which the purpose is to producing the software in the three steps is which are design the software, developing the program into the software, and testing the software. Last but not least, inside the electrical engineering, after gaining the knowledge which are electrical engineering knowledge, there are many jobs that include the electrical engineering. For example, circuit engineer, design engineer, software engineer, electrical engineer, electronic engineer, project engineer, power system engineer, test engineer, instrumentation and electrical I&E, reliability engineer, and others engineer that related to electrical engineering. Other than that, mechanical engineering is the another branch of engineering. Mechanical engineering is the ability of the principle and problem solving techniques of engineering, from design to development to the market for any project. Mechanical engineering is an engineering that employs of the principles and problem solving techniques of engineering, from design to development to the market of for any object. Mechanical engineering combines the creativity, information, and mechanical tools to complete the hard task of modeling an idea to reality. Before we proceed to discipline, we need to know the history of mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering is already existed in ancient Greece, which are images of work and development of first machine. The evolution of mechanical engineering is already evolved in during the Islamic Golden Age, while also evolved in 1847, which when the United Kingdom formed the Academy of Mechanical Engineering for the development the mechanical engineering knowledge. Moreover, mechanical engineering also have discipline. There are many disciplines in the mechanical engineering, which are acoustic, aerospace, biotechnology, control systems, ergonomics, mechanics, and lastly, robotics. Also, many more of discipline mechanical engineering. There are many tasks in the mechanical engineering include which are concurrent engineering, project management, measurements, developmental design, sales, analysis, PA and CFT, and other tasks. In addition, there are other engineering within the branch of engineering, which are computer engineering, nuclear engineering, marine engineering, and hard and safety engineering. It's the computer engineering. Computer engineering is the engineering that purpose to calculate, design, and preserve computer hardware and software system. Another purpose of computer engineering is the engineer is improve, test, and design computer processor, circuit boards, and network systems. Also, they will resolve the problem or address any anxieties that occur with the hardware or software and support the development of computer technology. The history of computer engineering was exists when the first computer, which the world's first electronic digital computer, which is Antasoft Bearing computer. This computer was built in from at Iowa State University, also built by the John Wilson Adanasoft and Clifford Berry. By the end of learning of computer engineering, there are many types of jobs in the computer engineering, which are big data engineer, machine learning engineer, data scientist engineer, data analytics engineer, blockchain developer or engineer, software developer, computer network architect, computer system analyst, database administrator, information security analyst, full stack developer, information system manager. That's it for the computer engineering. Next one is nuclear engineering. Nuclear engineering is another type of engineering that governs with the science and application of nuclear, also radiation process. This process is included the release, control, and utilization of nuclear energy and the creation and the use of radiation and radioactive materials for application in research, industrial medicine, and national security. The history of nuclear engineering. Nuclear engineering was born in 20th century with the statement in 1939 of the sighting of nuclear fission by the German chemist Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann. It was almost instead realized that a weapon of gigantic explosive energy might possibly be engaged in fission. And during World War II, the rest of the first to build this weapon led to the manufacture of the Manhattan Project in the United States. After learning the depth of knowledge in nuclear engineering, here are many types of jobs which nuclear engineering included is hard and safety specialized, instrumentation and control engineer, process engineer, project manager, quality engineer, reactor operator. That's it about nuclear engineering. Move on to the marine engineering. The next one is marine engineering. Marine engineering is a division of engineering that deals with the manufacture as well as the operation of mechanical equipment of seagoing craft, docks, and harbour installation. The basic job of a marine engineering is to design, form, preserve vehicles or structures used on or around water. There are three in the marine engineering, which are proper record keeping and planning maintenance, fuel oil, fuel oil bunkering, and emergency background and repair. Inside the proper record keeping and planning maintenance, it is the engine room department works as a group to ensure to make sure that the maintenance of all machinery system in the ship or harbour is implemented according to the secure maintenance system. Precise record keeping of various parameters is implemented for efficient paperwork and reporting. Moreover, in the fuel oil mercury, marine engines also handle the transfer of fuel oil to the ship from a bunker station on board. It is usually the duty of the fourth engineering engineer who also takes regular inquiries of the fuel oil tanks and always report it to the chief engineer for secure bunkering operations. Last but not least, emergency breakdown and repair. It is the study of marine engine also teach how to deal with the major maintenance and breakdown of machinery system at sea. Two marine engineers are quite familiar of the same. There are times where there might be a need for excellence. In such case, marine engineers are required to work with the excellence to repair and resolve the problems. In the image that I show you is the cycle of marine engineer, where they are starting in the training institution and taking a fifth exam or junior engineer, also taking the fourth class exam for fourth engineer until the chief engineer. And they will show the job opportunity to a three part with junior engineer or chief engineer in hotel commercial complex, hotels or communication complex, manager, director or technical lead import or government organization, shipping company, or superintendent or technical manager. If they don't have the sure job opportunity, they will go back to the trainer. If they are passed, they will back to the they will selected in the superintendent technical manager. If not, they will back to the training institution. Besides, in the fourth engineer, they already passed to become the chief engineer or technical manager. This is a cycle of the maybe engineer in the job opportunities. Let's see about the maybe engineering. The last one of the other engineering is petroleum engineering. Petroleum engineering is an engineering field that involves activity related to the investigation and production of hydrocarbons within the upstream sector. The curriculum in petroleum engineering is proposed to prepare students for the oil and gas industry and other fields which incriminate fluid flow from subsurface reservoirs to the surface, design of surface collection and treatment facilities, as well as specific tasks companion to drilling, production, reservoir engineering, and transportation of hydrocarbons to a refinery or pipeline. Now talk about the history of petroleum engineering. It is the foundation of petroleum engineering were recognized during the 1890s in California. In there, geologists were work to correlate oil producing zones and water zones from well to well to prevent unnecessary water from entering oil producing zones. From this came the acknowledgement of the potential for applied technology to oil field developer. Petroleum engineering also has their duty, which are design and development methods for dig out oil and gas from deposit below the earth ground surface. Also, discovery a new methods to extract oil and gas from the older well. To become an engineer of petroleum, there are five important qualities that needed in the engineer, which are an analytical skill that the engineer must available to assemble and make sense of big amounts of technical material and data in order to make sure that facilities operate safely and efficiently. Other than that, is creativity. Because of the new drill site is unique, therefore offering new challenges makes the petroleum engineer must be available to turn up with new creative design to dig up oil and gas. Besides that is interpersonal skill, which means that the engineers must be working together with other engineers on their projects that require the very complex machinery, equipment, and infrastructure. Also, community and working well with other engineers and oil and gas workers is also a key to make certain that projects meets the customer wants and run safely and professionally. Petroleum engineer must also have the skill and also have the problem solving skill. Problem solving skill which means that the petroleum engineer could detect problems in drilling plants because this problem can be exorbitant and it is so serious. Besides, petroleum engineers must be cautioned not to overlook any latent issues and must quickly address those which do happen. Then about a skill. About the career related in the petroleum engineering, there are examples of career related to petroleum engineer which are chemical engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, and others engineers. Therefore, this is the last section of the petroleum engineer in others engineer. That's it. Thank you. By the way, I also give it to you about two videos which are chemical engineering and electrical engineering respectively. The video of chemical engineering is published by the Olympic basis, while the electrical engineering is published by the main program. I also taking those two videos from the YouTube. Watch those videos, try to learn and having fun with that video. That's it for me. Thank you for watching my video presentation.
Chemical engineering. This is one of the most diverse opportunity engineering disciplines available, but also one of the most unknown to the public. In this video, I'm going to explain what a chemical engineer is, what roles we can do, and why we are so important to society. Probably the biggest chemical engineering question I get asked is this. Well, what is chemical engineering? But before we really get into it, we need to address a common misconception that often happens between not knowing the difference of a chemist versus a chemical engineer. So chemists are more of the creators of chemistry. They are more likely to develop new materials and processes. Chemist investigates the property of matter at an atomic and molecular level. They help analyze substances and create data. They do this through a various amount of experiments and lab work to analyze basic properties of matter to find new uses and applications. They also focus on quality control of many substances. Another role involves a lot of technical documentation and reports that incorporate a lot of the results of their findings, as well as evaluate and update many laboratory safety procedures. Now, a chemical engineer, on the other hand, applies chemistry. Chemical engineers take the existing chemicals and processes and really focus on upscaling the process while maintaining efficiency and maximizing productivity. Another really important role chemical engineers must take on is quality control. Chemical engineers have to focus on all these factors while also minimizing operating costs. So in order to excel in all of these roles, chemical engineers must learn and apply various principles. Chemical engineers throughout their undergraduate and graduate level curriculum must fully understand the basics of chemistry, thermodynamics, math, biology, and physics. In order to excel, they also must go into other complex principles such as mass transfer, heat transfer, and fluid dynamics. All of these critical skills are needed in chemical engineering in order to really improve processes that will help most of society. So when we learn all of this, you wonder, well, what industries can engineers work in? Well, the answer is there are endless careers for chemical engineers. We have to learn so much and understand so many fundamentals that we can go into various industries. For example, some industries involved the food processing, where chemical engineers improve the processing techniques as well as the quantity and quality of the food available. They help mass produce drugs in the pharmaceutical industry to help them be more affordable. They can work in the plastics industry and even oil and gas. Chemical engineers can go into upstream, midstream, or downstream and really help make efficient methods of refining petroleum products. Another diverse industry chemical engineers can work in are the textile and fibers. A lot of these fibers go into the everyday clothing that we wear, and essentially any manufacturing experience or plant a chemical engineer is able to work in. So as you can see, chemical engineers can work in a variety of industries, and as a result, we get a variety of products for our everyday use. Some of these products include fertilizers, food, bottles, plastics, the comfortable clothes and workout wear, a lot of our pharmaceuticals and medicines, everyday cleaner and household items, gas for your car, and even makeup. So as you can see, chemical engineers are responsible for so much that we use to enjoy our everyday lives. And without them around to help minimize operating costs, improve efficiency, and upscale many of these processes, we wouldn't live in the world we live in today.
My name's Jemima Jackson and I'm a graduate electrical engineer at M Control. I supervise and organise the electricians and their work that they do. So say we're building one of these that's behind me, I help design it, so I will draw it up on the computer and everything like that. And then I'll be involved with all the ordering of all the parts, and then I'll help them compile a list of all of the tasks that the electricians and everyone on the floor has to do, and then we'll give all of that to the staff, and then we'll supervise their work, and then at the end we'll supervise the testing to make sure it all works. And so basically every step of the way I'm doing all the paperwork and all the organising behind the end result. Well, I do like the organisation part. I like being very organised, so it really suits me that that's a main component of my job. I actually also really enjoy the design aspect. I think it's really cool that I can draw something one day and in a few weeks' time it's a real big box that actually works, and you get to see it working and you get to talk to the customers and you really get to interact with them and then provide them with something that they really want. So you're a customer service person, but you're a designer, but you're an organiser, so it's just lots of different things, and every day is different, so I never really get bored. It's really good. Really well at maths and science at a year 10 level. And then so when it came to picking my subjects for year 11 and 12, I picked 4-unit maths, physics, chemistry, and computing studies, which is IPT, I think. And I did really well at all of those at school, or well, if I didn't go really well at them, I enjoyed them a lot. And I just scraped into electrical engineering at Newcastle University, and along with, I did some work experience as well during that time, so I knew that it kind of seemed like something that I'd really want to do. I could see how the maths and everything I was doing at school almost related to what I was doing at work. And yeah, so then I worked again all the way through my degree on a UNIS scholarship. And I had a year off before I did my last year, and I worked in Sydney and worked with Ausgrid on the utilities. And then I finished last year, and I've just started at Amp Control this year. I think these days you learn a lot of it once you finish university, and that's one of those things where a lot of people leave university and kind of go, oh, there's all these things they didn't teach me, like writing emails, interacting with people that aren't your own age. That's a really big one. Like, anyone who can interact with someone who's not their own age is such a treasure in this industry, because you have to learn it quickly. But if you've already got it, then you're just that little bit of a step ahead. I feel like at 22, having 5 years in the industry has just been incredible. It's crazy, but yeah. Here on this graduate program for at least another 2 years, and so in that time I'll get to see all the different divisions of Amp Control, and then I suppose after that I get to start looking at taking on more supervisory roles, so I can start looking at becoming an engineering manager where you manage other engineers, or I can look at going into business or commercial, which means that I could do an MBA. There's still a lot of scope for me to go back to university and do a PhD. That's one of those really good things about what I've chosen, is that even though now I've finished the path, there are still heaps more paths to take from here. So I really like how it all forks off, and there's lots of different opportunities for me.